So hi everyone. My name is Hasana Tubari. I am the founder of the Babysitter Guru, which is an informational hub, kind of assisting babysitters and parents kind of navigating their way through the childcare industry and their childcare journey. In terms of babysitters, just trying to help them and advise them. They start anywhere from 11 to become a babysitter, up until, any age. But just helping them navigate through that journey, because it's a little complicated. You're dealing with parents, you're dealing with kids, all that mixed in one. Your head is going to hurt. So it's understandable, and they need that help to get them through that. And then with parents, I always say you don't go to school to become a parent. So you need that little assistance. So when you hire a childcare provider, this is someone that's coming into your home, or you're dropping them off. You're dropping off the kid at their home, but you have to be able to establish trust. So I help consult parents and kind of give them the nicks and knacks of what they should do when looking for a childcare provider, what are the pros, what are the cons, and it's going to be all right. This is normal. When you have kids, you need help, whether you have your family or friends around you or outside help, like hiring a childcare provider. It all comes down to just making sure that the child is happy at the end of the day. So yeah.
Okay, so first question is, as a mom of two rambunctious boys, how do we find the right sitter?
Yeah. So I feel like that's definitely a conversation, that you and your partner should have, like, exactly what should we look in finding a sitter? Like, what are some of the characteristics that we want? What are some of the educational background? And, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but there's also fears associated with it, right? And being able to kind of talk about that and making sure that, like, that's first on the table, because you have this human being that's, like, so precious to you, right? And you want to make sure that the person who comes into your home, or if they're, like, exposed to the person, that they're the right person to be around your child. So when it comes to finding a babysitter, you start off with you and the other individual just having that basic conversation, writing down. I'm all about visuals, so I like to write down everything, exactly what you're looking for, and then to decide if you want to hire an agency to do it for you, help you look for a childcare provider, or you do it on your own. So those are your two options. Some people, even, let's just say if your child goes to, like, a daycare center, they usually sometimes hire the people who care for them there to help them on the weekends or something like that.
Really?
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's something that's very common, or they enlist family and friends to do it. So you have to decide between those, what do you want? And if you decide to go for a babysitter as an option, decide if you want to do an agency or you do it on your own. If you do it on your own, there's, like, websites like care.com, Sitter City. What else? There's a lot more of them that you could go to and look for it on your own, or you hire an agency.
I want to, go into the next question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you help a mom, especially a new mom, has a beautiful baby?
Yeah.
What are tips that you can give her to get comfortable with finding a babysitter? Like, how do you create this space where it's okay to have a babysitter, and it doesn't mean you're a bad parent, that you need help?
Mm-hmm. It's all about establishing a trust first, and in order for you to do that, you need to communicate with them.
True.
You need to communicate with them. I love phone calls, but there's nothing more like either an in-person interaction or video, like we're doing right now. I get to see your face, I get to see your reactions, I can hear your voice, I get to see how exactly you're responding to my questions and your face expressions, right? Phone, you really don't get to do that. And then in person is even better. So in your process of finding that and making sure that, like, it's okay to hire a babysitter, you either meet them in person or you do video. Phone is definitely another option, but I prefer those top two, and see if you feel comfortable. Now, I always believe if you feel like a little something coming up, or like you feel a little comfortable, or when you say, like, you have, like, a mom instinct, believe that mom instinct. Believe that mom instinct. So if you don't feel comfortable, you think something is up, then, you finish either your video call or your in-person meeting, and then, just follow up, be like, hey, I don't think it's going to work out. But if you're satisfied in how the person is talking to you through video, or you're satisfied in how they presented themselves in person, then the next steps moving forward is to, again, do another conversation, maybe ask another question that you weren't able to like ask the first time around, right? But it's a slow process. You don't want to rush into it, because the moment you rush into it, you know, and then you think you made the wrong decision and something happens and all that stuff. So it's a slow process, but once you get it right the first time, you won't be mad. Like, for example, I've been babysitting for this one family for 3 years.
Wow.
And I was their first babysitter. So, and it took about a month before I started, but that was for a reason, right? You're establishing that trust, you're establishing that communication. So yeah, it's important.
Trust and communication. All right. So this may be like a silly question, but
yeah.
You know, some of us know the obvious benefits of having a babysitter. Oh, date nights.
Yeah.
Oh, we get to go out, or the baby gets to learn a language if the babysitter speaks a different language, which is always a bonus.
Yeah.
But what are some benefits that we aren't aware of having a babysitter, like on the back end, that you guys as babysitters notice?
Someone, your go-to person.
True.
Go-to person. You never know what's going to happen, right? Let's just say, you know, God forbid, but you fall down the stairs and you and your husband have to rush to the hospital. My mom is not in town.
Wow.
My friends are all working. My babysitter, you know, Hassa, I could just call her right now, and 8 out of 10 times she's usually available, so she could come, right? So you have someone very quick that you could just call if anything happens, right?
So it's like an extension of your family, in a sense.
Yeah. I usually call them like with the nannies, I say like the honorary parent. That's what I call them, the nanny, the honorary parent. And the babysitter, it's more like I would say it's like in between like an aunt or uncle, depending if the sitter is like a male or female. Not sibling. I wouldn't say like sister or brother, because then, you know, they could walk all over you. But yeah. With the nannies, I say like an honorary parent, because it's literally their third parent with the nannies. They're with them 24/7. But with the babysitter, I say like, you know, an honorary aunt or uncle. So you have that extra person that you could go to that knows your kids, know their routines, know their personalities, the discipline techniques and all that stuff. So you have like an extra family member, kind of, in a way. It's to the point where even with one of my families, they have like a picture that the daughter drew, and she's 5, where she has my name, her brother, and herself, and they have it hanging in the refrigerator, on the refrigerator door. So yeah, it's normal. You become a part of the family. And once you feel that you are, it's a good feeling. It really is.
That's dope. That's cool. All right. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
And as 2 things that we talked about, and I want to talk about it again because I love the conversation we had. And it was, how do we make sure a mom doesn't feel like she's missing out on the milestones of her child while having a babysitter?
Mm-hmm. That definitely goes back to communicating with the sitter.
Okay.
Goes back to communicating with this. If that's fears, those are normal fears to have. That's not out of the ordinary. That's normal to have. And you have to have a sit down discussion with your sitter, because if that's the point, then you guys are going to establish like different tools that you could utilize to make sure that you're not feeling like you're missing out on your child. Right. Mm-hmm. So, for example, with sitters, let's just say your sitter has like a 20 hours a week. She works for you, right? Mm-hmm. She's with the kids 20 hours a week. Let's just say five hours every day for 4 days. And during those time, you feel like you're missing out on feeding them or having discussion with them. We have the phones, technology all the time. You know, let me put you on FaceTime so you can see it, or like I can even record it and send it to you.
Right.
Well, like during like, you know, in between your meetings, I could send you the video and you can watch them, or we could even call them. I love calling the parent, you know, when they're off for like 5 minutes or so, calling them just to hear their voice. Like, hi, mommy, hi, daddy, you know, just to talk to them, hear their voice. Also, with certain families have cameras in the house.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that, too. That's real.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if usually the kids know there's cameras in the house, they could, like, you know, look at the camera, like, hi, mommy, or do something like really funny. And then she could speak into it, or he could speak into the father. And they can hear their voices and all that stuff. So, they're not doing it as a punishment that they need a babysitter, but they just need help and the extra help. And it's fine to ask for help. And if that's the case, you communicate it with your sitter. Like, hey, I feel like I'm missing out on stuff. And your sitter should be very open to it. Like, oh, no, we'll definitely work on something to make sure that you're not missing out on anything. Even if they start walking or something, like I'm going to videotape it with my phone, and catch that moment, or even FaceTime you. So.
Okay, that's cool. All right, so then I'm curious. This is like, what are some like really good nanny cams parents could buy? Because there's some parents like, hey, I'm getting a babysitter. I definitely want a camera. And I know you said that you should communicate to the babysitter that there is a camera, and wherever they are, point them out. I feel like that's trust for both parties. Like, hey, I trust you with my baby, and I trust that you're going to tell me what's in your home for my safety, or just whatever. Yeah. So do you know of any products a parent could try out that you've seen that parents use?
So personally, I am not like familiar with the type of cameras that they have in the house nowadays. So I'm not up to date with that. I know, which is the outside one?
What? There's one like outside, like we can put outside.
Yeah. What is it called?
What are the benefits of it?
The benefits of having a camera in your house?
Well, yeah, actually, some parents need to know that it's not a bad idea to have a camera in your house.
Oh, it's not. And if you do, then that's totally up to you. It's definitely not a bad option to have. And there's I guess with having the camera in the house, you just have to be open about it, right? Let's just say if you never even had a sitter or consider having a sitter or a nanny, right? Some people have cameras in their house. Who knows? Maybe if they have like work being done inside and out the house, they just want the camera on, which is fine. But if you decide to have a camera when you're hiring a sitter or a nanny, that's also perfectly fine. It's just that parents, they have fears. They think stuff is going to happen. And, they have every right to have a camera in their house. But you need to be able to communicate that. It shouldn't be a secret. And it should be in certain places. So like common areas, the living room, the kitchen, the dining room. The bedroom, yeah, it makes sense if you want to put some cameras in your kids' rooms. That's perfectly fine. Definitely do not put it in the bathroom. That's the one thing that comes to my mind. If you have like a live-in nanny, do not have a camera in the live-in nanny's room whatsoever.
Good to know.
Yeah, whatsoever.
So what's the difference, I guess, between, I'm really trying to understand what an au pair does a bit, because you said this before, there's different types of babysitters.
Yeah.
Please educate us.
Sure. So for a babysitter are part-time, right? So they serve anywhere from 15 to 20 hours a week, right? You call them when you need them, and they're occasional. They happen occasionally. So it's like, let's just say if you need somebody to pick up the kids Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, like that's when you use them, right? Where with nannies, they're a full-time investment. So like I said, they become like the honorary parent. Compared to the sitter, it's like an honorary aunt or uncle who's not there all the time. But parent, you're always there, right? So with a parent, with a nanny, they're full-time. They do 40 hours a week. You literally discuss with them exactly every inch of like basically bring up the child, anywhere from discipline to food to their schedule, like everything. I always say, for example, when you're signing documents and they say like emergency contact, like you'll put your nanny. Okay. Yeah, because they know everything about the kid. They're always there. But with the au pair is always overseas. So they're an individual from overseas. They come over. They have a stipend that they're paid, and they live within your home. So a lot of people like au pairs because one, they usually have like different languages that they speak, and they could provide a different culture for the child. So if you want your child to be exposed to a different culture, then having an au pair. It's always done through an agency.
Okay.
They stay with you for a set amount of time. It usually tends to be younger people too with the au pair. So younger, I say anywhere under the age of 30. Nannies, it could range from like 20 and up. And babysitters tend to be much younger. So you're doing like around your college years and teenagers as well.
Interesting. All right. Is there anything that we need to know about the Babysitter Guru? Like, anything that a new mom, especially a new mom, needs to know about getting a babysitter? From before you say anything, I'm always an advocate, get the support. It's almost like a postpartum doula in a lot of ways. But I believe babysitters, you know, they're not just for date nights. It's literally, they can become a part of your family, like you said. But yes, what are some things that we need to know, the general public,
about the Babysitter Guru? Well, it's definitely a new brand that's unheard of, right? You know, when you're introducing something new to the market, like, what is that? You know, I always get like, people think I'm an agency, which is perfectly normal. And I understand because, yeah, it's perfectly normal because you get confused. You don't, when you hear something new, it's like, what is that? You know, you want to learn more information. But I want to introduce something that changes the narrative of being a babysitter or just a childcare provider in general. And assisting parents, because there's a lot of questions they have. You don't go to school for being a parent. So you have your child, you do the best that you can to raise this child to be the best person that they could be in this world, right? And you need the help. You can't, it takes a village to raise a child, right? I always say that, it takes a village. So being open to receiving that help, and being that I'm like an expertise in my field, I've been doing this for 8+ years, and engaging with a lot of sitters and nannies on a daily basis and au pairs. I have a lot of knowledge to share, and being able to work with parents, I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, where can we find you if we need you? I'm sure a lot of moms will need you when it comes to babysitting services or helping us connect to the right person, or if we have questions like, oh my gosh, Hassa, I really like this babysitter, but I don't like these things. Can you help me figure this out?
Yeah. So I love hearing from all my parents. So feel free to message me. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at the Babysitter Guru. And then I also have a YouTube channel, which is catered usually to my babysitters, but that's also the Babysitter Guru. And then my email, thebabysitterguru@gmail.com. I'm always available and I respond within 24 hours.
She does. You really do. You're on it. So I want to say thank you for coming to the Min Baby Chat. And I was only asking you questions that all new and expecting parents want to know, because babysitting is a part of their journey.
Yes,
and it's a great extension to add on to all the other things that you need to know while you're new and expecting. So I want to say thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Baby Chat. It was super chill.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're welcome.